block, now you know I'm coming through. When the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Table turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keep dealing me cards, I keep feeling it.
What's going on, people? What's going on? It's G, and I am back in the building. Sorry, guys. I know. Haven't been consistent last like 5-6 days, but as you guys can probably tell from my voice, I am very, very ill. So I've had to just take a couple of days off. But I said, you know what? We've got a game this weekend up against Brentford in the Premier League, 12:30 kickoff. Yes, another one, where Liverpool can, of course, go 5 points clear. I think before Manchester City face off against Chelsea in the evening kickoff, I believe that's when they are playing. So said, you know what? Let me just ease myself back in. You know what I mean? Let's just get back into it. And, you know, let's just do a little preview. And we're just, you know, just a nice quick one today, nice and easy. It's a Friday afternoon, people. Hope you guys are, of course, enjoying your day as well. Before I get into anything, I'd just like to say a massive, and I will be doing a live in the next like few days anyway, where, you know, we can chop it up and stuff like that properly. But I just like to say a massive thank you to every single individual who has helped me get to 1,000 subscribers. We finally hit that mark. You know what I mean? We finally got that number, that monkey off our back, so to speak. You know, we finally hit that 1,000 target. Honestly, guys, look, you guys know me, guys who watch the channel, you know, you've seen me on other shows, you know, Terrace, This Is Football for Sam, Michael Talks, Ends, Jerry, you know, Big Six, you know, all these guys, man. Flawless, Sarcasm TV, like Jamie Phillips, Savage, like there's so many of you, Quasi, 12, like that's just the content creators, and there's many more I'm probably missing off the top of my head, so I do apologize. But it's you guys, the subscribers, man. Honestly, that's what we do it for. Do you know what I mean? All of us. I know, of course, I've got the, you know, I'm still baby stepping my way through this whole journey, you know, this content creating and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And honestly, for me, it's big. It's really, really big, because it shows that, you know, one, I'm doing something right. Do you know what I mean? As much as I might have my hot takes and, you know, my little bits and bobs, regardless, you guys are still rocking with me, you know, since day .1. And, you know, some of you I speak to privately, and, you know, we chop it up and we speak about various different things, and, you know, just the conversations we've had, whether we've agreed, whether we've disagreed, like, honestly, I don't even care about all of that, man. I just care about the sheer fact that we're all here respectful, you know, whether we agree or disagree, and we've just been able to chop up football. So it's just so big for me to hit that 1,000, you know, subscribers. Yeah, it's honestly, it's a lot. It's a lot, you know, without getting too emotional, you know, and, you know, I don't get emotional, but, you know, it's honestly, it's a really, really big thing for me. So again, man, big up you guys for all subscribing to the channel. You know, we're gonna have a lot more stuff. I'm trying to change it up a little bit, you know, so it's not the same old basic stuff that, you know, I've been doing, you know, the pre-1,000 subscribers. So yeah, again, you guys, love for the love. If I'm being totally honest with you, man, honestly, like, love for the love. But, you know, we'll chop up more in regards to that once I jump on the live. But again, like I said, much appreciative from everybody. But we're here, Liverpool versus Brentford, Brentford versus Liverpool, down in London again. Liverpool have a kind of, I mean, not that great of a record. Drew against Chelsea, lost to Tottenham, lost to Arsenal, beat Palace. Who else is there from London? I think that's about it. Yeah. So yeah, we don't have the greatest of records this season down in London. So, you know, but we know, especially playing against Brentford, we know it's going to be tricky. We know what Brentford are about. Excuse me, the kind of team that Brentford are under Thomas Frank. Of course, that's another name that's obviously been touted for the Liverpool job, and, you know, stuff like that. I know that's not everybody's favorite. Everyone's got their love child in Xabi Alonso, but Thomas Frank is a fantastic, fantastic manager. Please do not sleep on someone like him. If you think about it like this, when it comes to managers, just think about, focus more on how they play their football, their ideologies, their principles, and things like that. And then just imagine what they could do with a team like Liverpool. I think, trust me, you'd start to. I'm not saying you'd warm up to the idea. I'm not saying, oh yeah, I want him as a manager. Forget all of that stuff. Want who you want. If you want Xabi Alonso, he's a fine manager himself. So so it would be absolutely fine if he, of course, came in. But you'll start to see that there's a lot of managers out there who, if they were able to have a team like Liverpool's, yes, we don't spend money and etc. I know that's always the conversation. Oh, we don't spend like a City or a Chelsea or these big top clubs and stuff like that. But we still have good players. Do you know what I mean? So, ultimately, we were lucky in that kind of sense where the players that we do have have then gone on to do fantastic and great things. So imagine now another manager coming into a team where they've obviously come from another team that isn't obviously as prestige as Liverpool, and think about what their principles could then add to Liverpool Football Club. Honestly, man, it will definitely get your brain thinking. And I think Thomas Frank, for me, falls into that bracket. I've always liked him as a manager ever since I saw him in the championship with Brentford. I said, all right, the way that they're playing, but again, it's the championship, so everyone plays great football. Well, you got the few teams who always play great football in the championship, like Vincent Kompany. At Burnley, we've kind of seen how that's kind of worked out for him. Fantastic football, but it's not really popping over here. I can see the translation from Thomas Frank, how he's able to translate that championship football. Obviously, he's gotten better players, over time, and been able to kind of still compete in the Premier League, where everybody knows going down to Brentford, that's a tricky day. That's a long day, mate. It's a long day. So, yeah, man, big up to Thomas Frank. But, of course, we're here to take a look at the game. I'll give you guys my lineup, my score prediction, excuse me, for for the match. Now, Liverpool's head-to-head, I was looking at it against Brentford. I mean, last game we beat them 3-0. Before that, beat them 1-0. They beat us 3-1. We beat them 3-0 before that, and then we had the 3-3, the 3-3 game. I think that's the game that you guys can see below on the screen right now, the goals, Curtis Jones and Mohamed Salah. Actually, that's a lie. I think that's actually the 2-2. I think that was the first season that they were actually here and we played against them. And I remember saying, this is going to be a tricky game, like they're just one of them kind of teams. But, we've had some good results, of course, 3-0s, 3-1s, 2 3-0s, obviously the 1-0, but we've also had them, the defeats, the draws. Like, it's a mixed bag. It's kind of like a mixed bag when it comes to playing against Brentford. And I think when I'm looking at Brentford as a whole, the one kind of main thing, and obviously the player that everybody talks about, the player that's on everyone's lips for good or bad, is Ivan Toney. Obviously, of course, he's their biggest threat. But I don't want us to sleep on the Brentford team in general. He's their biggest threat because he's their best player, of course. But they have other threats. They're very good at set pieces. They have, I don't know what it is they do on the training ground, but some of them set pieces that they're orchestrating and concocting up, like it's mad. It's mad. It's really, really clever, really, really smart. Set pieces in general, actually, but I know from corners and stuff like that, they're really, really good at those, and of course, when you've got Tony as well, who's a very good free kick taker himself, it can be problematic. It can really, really be problematic. And I think that's going to be one thing that Liverpool are going to have to make sure that we're on point with, is when, I think Jurgen Klopp, I was listening to his press conference and he was speaking a little bit about it, in regards to Brentford's, set pieces, they will look for it. Regardless of anything, they will look for it because they're really good at it. So we need to just make sure that we're on point. We're not giving away needless fouls. They're going to look for it. They're at home as well. It's the early kickoff. Fans are going to probably be buzzing and all that kind of stuff. So we have to try and play in a way that can quieten, everybody down. And especially, of course, trying to quieten, the one of the better strikers in the Premier League in Ivan Toney. His kind of game is, he's more centered in and around. He's a very good hold-up player. He's really. I think I did a video previously talking about Ivan Toney and about which club would be the best club for him to move to. I think he might, if everyone, obviously, depending on what the fee is, if everyone's willing to pay it, he'd be a good striker for most teams. Can bring the ball down, got good close ball control. He can pick out a pass when he needs to. He can bring, obviously, others into play. But it's also his off-the-ball movement. That's what I like about him the most. He always seems to find himself in very, very good positions. Sometimes I see him from a corner. People are not marking him because he's not in a dangerous or somewhat dangerous area. Of course, like I mentioned before, Brentford have got other threats in the box. The Ben Mees and, the players like this. You need to watch these kind of guys in the box because they can be a problem. But he's always there lurking. That's what he's really, really good at. And he's very, very composed when it comes to finishing. We've seen what he's like with his penalties and stuff like that. So, of course, you already kind of know what he's about in that kind of regard. So, yeah, I think with Brentford, especially when I look at the way that they played against Manchester City, I know obviously City ended up winning the game 3-1. But when I look at the way that they played against Manchester City, I was like, yeah, you see. And the thing with Liverpool, we do give away, a lot of chances in games. We give away, I think I was looking at I know it's just XG and stuff, and, not to read too much into them, but I was looking at like the XG of goals conceded. And I think Liverpool, we're quite high. I think we're like 29. We've only conceded like 23 or something like that. Arsenal was only like 18. Man City was only like 23. So we're conceding chances is what we're doing. Yeah, and we do that quite a lot. And with a Brentford team, I know Vissa's back from AFCON duties. I don't know if he's available, if he's fit. Obviously, of course, you got Tony, Neil Maupay. He's hit a good little run of form. I was kind of. I like him as well, but hit this form a bit later. Yeah, I mean after our game. Don't come into our game with this crazy level of form. Don't know about Mbeumo. Don't know if he's back or not. But if he is, that's another threat. But I don't think or know if he's going to be back for the game. But again, that'll be very, very interesting. So Brentford, they're a tricky team. There's not to sit here and say that Liverpool can't go there and win 3-0. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not saying that. You'll see my score prediction, what I actually think. But yeah, I'm not saying Liverpool can't go there, slap them 3-0, 3-1, just like Manchester City did, and then we just go on to the next day. But they're going to be really geared up for this game. They're really, really going to be geared up. And it's going to be interesting to actually watch Thomas Frank up against Liverpool a bit more close up to see, how he kind of fares against us. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. In regards to Liverpool news, from what I can remember from Jurgen Klopp's press conference, obviously Thiago out, Trent out, Szoboszlai out, Mo's back in full training, so I believe he said he should be he's in contention for the game, which made me think, if he's in contention for the game, does that mean he starts? Kind of thing. Joe Gomez is back fit. Ali's obviously back. Konate's not suspended anymore. Obviously, we know Robbo's back. Bradley's back as well. He just won Player of the Month as well, so congratulations to him. Yeah, I think everything else is kind of just what we knew, what we knew already of the other players who were like injured and stuff like that from before or unavailable for this game anyway. Obviously, I know Trent's not going to be available for the cup final. I think he mentions Szoboszlai. I feel like it's a touch and go kind of situation. I think it all just really depends on how many training sessions he can get between now and then, to be honest with you. If he doesn't get a lot, then of course he's not going to be in contention. So yeah, I think we'll just have to wait and see. But knowing that Mo Salah is back in contention, I think that's really, really good for Liverpool. I know we've done well without him. We've done well without him, but it's still the king. It's still the king, man. It's still the king. So, I'm just happier when he's back. Do you know what I mean? I think like Liverpool are a better team when he is when he's available. That's just my bias, my personal opinion. We are more of a threat, so to speak. So yeah, let's just wait and see on that one. So obviously got my lineup here. Obviously I put Ali in already. I should have put Van Dijk as well, because of course he will play the game. Alongside Van Dijk, obviously Kwanzaa filled in for Konate, because Konate was suspended for that game. I actually think he'll go with Konate for this game, purely because of the aerial threat that they are going to pose in this kind of game. I think we're going to need someone like Konate at the back there. Like I said, set pieces, just in terms of long balls that they might try, punt up to Tony. And Tony's very good in the air. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be an easy day. Well, I would like to think it will be an easy day, but the other part of me, my brain's starting to think, I don't know, it's gonna be a long day for Van Dijk and Konate. They're really gonna come away from that match knowing that they had a battle. If Tony's on it, of course. If he's not on it, then it is what it is. And the problem is, Tony being on it and doing his thing. Remember, if they're playing with the two central strikers, which is what they might probably do. Jurgen Klopp was speaking a little bit about that in his press conference. If they're playing with the two central strikers, you've got Neil Maupay still buzzing around, and he's a nuisance. The way that he plays, the way that he riles up other players, riles up fans and all that kind of stuff, he'll be a nuisance in and around, our kind of area. So again, and when he wants to be, Neil Maupay can be a good finisher. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So yeah, but before it was Neil Maupay up top anyway for Brentford. Prior to, all this Tony and Ollie Watkins and all that kind of, it was Neil Maupay. I think he might have been in between actually. But Neil Maupay was the one bagging goals for them. So yeah, like I say, we just got to be careful with that, with Tony and Morpay just causing havoc, and that's what they're going to try and do. They're definitely going to try that, try and hit us long, and they're going to try and defend. I won't even say deep, so to speak, but quite. They probably want us to go narrow. Oh, sorry, they want us to go wide, so because they can defend really, really narrow in what they need to do. They'll play their 3/5 at the back, however you want to, 5 at the back, shall we just say? So yeah, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky, I think. Anyway, left back. I know Robbo's back. Gomez is fit again. I would go with Gomez, but because he's just back, and again, only because I heard what Klopp was saying. Obviously, he's just back now. I'll go with Robbo for now, but then I would probably go with maybe Gomez for the next game, and then from there you can decide what you do for the final. He might even just go Robbo, and then Gomez, or Gomez, Robbo. I don't know, or swap and you might go Gomez this game, Robbo the next game, Gomez. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I would play. I'm not going to reveal too much from my lineup for the final, but I probably would have played. Joe Gomez for the final. So yeah, I'm gonna go Robbo for this game. Right back, obviously we know Trent Alexander-Arnold is out for the game, which only leaves Connor Bradley in that position. Obviously we know Bradley obviously been away, taking time out with his family due to the death of his father. Again, condolences to him and his family. But if Klopp thinks he's ready, I mean he's back, so whether he believes he's ready, I don't know. But you know what, actually? I'm just thinking about it now because I know Brentford, man. I'm not saying Conor Bradley can't handle it or whatnot and stuff like that, but I just feel like he's going to need more athleticism and he's going to need that aerial threat. I'm going to go Gomez, actually. I'm going to go Gomez. I did think of Bradley. I did, and I do. I don't mind if Bradley's the one playing. At the end of the day, he has to get used to it if he's trying to get a slot in that right back position. But Brentford can be tricky. They can be tricky. And Bradley's just coming back. Is this the kind of game? Would you not just prefer Luton at home, during the week? I feel like that would be a better game to cushion him back into. So I would start maybe with Gomez. Obviously, I know that doesn't necessarily help because I wanted to swap Gomez and Robbo and stuff like that. But I literally just had this thought as I'm doing the team lineup because in my brain it was going to be Bradley. But I'm just remembering Brentford's threat and how they like to play. Potentially in those channels as well. Again, I don't know if Buemo's back. I don't think he is. But again, Aaron Hickey on that side, potentially. I'll go Gomez. I'll go Gomez on that right-hand side. I feel like that gives us more of a balance with anything. Gomez has done the inverted thing, so if that's what Klopp wants to do, he can do that. Or he can obviously just play the normal right-back role. Robbo, we know, will do his thing up on that left-hand side. And they can provide the width that everyone keeps talking about. Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Midfield, I will go with Szoboszlai's out. I'll go with this midfield. Endo in the 6. Obviously Jones. I'll go Harvey Elliott. The thing with Harvey Elliott is, and Klopp again, that's what I'm saying. This time I actually listened to this press conference because Klopp alluded to this. Now, me personally, Harvey Elliott from the start, and I know I put him in there, but that's just more because I don't trust Gravenberch and Szoboszlai's out, and there's no Thiago and there's no Bajcetic, so we're kind of a bit limited as it is. Elliott from the start of games, in my opinion, hasn't been that good, and Klopp alluded to that in terms of off the bench. Obviously, he doesn't want to call him super sub, but he's kind of been that super sub. Came off the bench the last game, provided 2 assists, really, really good cameo appearance. But when he starts games, he doesn't have that same vim, that same kind of level of intensity. Whether that's just the team in a general sense, because, I've said before about Liverpool and starting off games, we don't seem to start off games really that well. Obviously, there's some games we do, but more time I'm seeing Liverpool, it's lethargic, it's lack of intensity. And then second half, we come out with all the things that we were lacking. So I always wonder, why do we start these games so slow? Against Brentford, you cannot do that. You really, really don't want to get the crowd and the players G'd up for a game against Liverpool. We know what it's like playing against Liverpool. It's like a cup final for everybody. So, you really don't want to give the Brentford crowd and the players that kind of time to be able to do so. But when it comes to Elliott in particular, yeah, when I've watched him start games, I've not been impressed. I'll be honest with you. I think he's better potentially coming off the bench, but I don't want to keep playing Endo, Jones, and McAllister, then play Endo, Jones, and McAllister again against Luton on the week, and then what we're going to do for the final. Like, I feel like one of these guys needs to have a tad bit of a rest, and I don't mind it being McAllister, if I'm being totally honest with you. I think Endo has to maybe stay in that sixth position for me, because it's going to be a real battle in there. So yeah, I don't mind having that. But if you guys feel that maybe Gravenberch, and again, let me know what you think in the comments. If you think maybe Gravenberch should slot in, then yeah, let me know in any of those positions. But again, like I said, I feel like it will be a bit of a battle in that middle of the park at times. And I trust Endo there more than anyone else anyway in that sixth position. And Elliot, I think this is the time where you need to start showing, I can start games now, boss. Do you know what I mean? I know he's leaving and stuff, so it might not really matter in the grand scheme of things, but it will matter to the next manager because he'll be looking at these kind of things. Whoever the next manager is, they'll be watching all of, like, even if they don't know who the next manager is, they'll be watching all of Liverpool's games. They'll be watching them, seeing who's playing well, who looks like they're getting into their next phase of football, and that manager could take them to the next level, you know, kind of thing. And Elliot is obviously one of those kind of players where he's on that kind of, he's still young, obviously. So, you know, I'm not saying he needs to be at world-class level next. That's not what I'm saying. But he's on that kind of, all right, he's played enough games, men's football. He's been a starter and stuff like that. We're still seeing a lack of consistency from him. Whereas with Jones, we're now finally, obviously Jones is like 23. We're seeing consistency more so from Jones. Cool. Obviously, he's older than Harvey Elliott. Can Harvey Elliott get to that level of consistency when he starts games? That will be key for me. So yeah, I'll go with him for this game. I'll trust him for this game. But again, after this, if I'm seeing janky performances, then go back to the bench, my boy. Up front, got Luton during the week. I think I'll go with Diogo Jota. And I will go with I'm bringing Salah back, to be honest with you. But I just feel like if he's fit, like Klopp is playing the guy, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, you know, he might surprise man and be like, nah, you can't just play. But I just feel like if he's fit, just start him, kind of thing. But then I mean, it's a good weapon to have on the bench. It is a good weapon to have on the bench. On the left-hand side, I'll go with Nunes. Not all have runners either side of him, both Salah and Nunes. I know Salah will at times like to drop a bit deep to collect the ball. But when we are breaking on the attack, when you got Harvey Elliott next to Salah, sometimes I've not really liked it, but Harvey Elliott, in my opinion, will come back and defend. He will help out. So that helps when Salah's not coming back to help out and defend and stuff like that. So that right-hand side, I'm not too fussed about. Left-hand side, Jones and Robertson, they've played enough times together. It's just really Nunes. And then you've got Diaz and Gakpo on the bench. Do you know what I mean? You've got Diaz, you've got two attackers on the bench who are different styles. So you can bring them on if the game ain't going our way or we need to change things a little bit up top. I feel like you can bring those guys on. Nunes, I would have gone with Gakpo potentially, but I say Nunes for this type of game and then Gakpo maybe for the next game. That will maybe be my kind of level of thinking. Let's just see how, you know, the players get through this game first. But yeah, that's the kind of lineup I'm going with. Let me know what you guys, of course, think in the comments. Ali in goal, Robbo left back, Gomez right back, Van Dijk and Konate, Endo, Jones, Elliott in the midfield, and then Nunes, Jota, and Mohamed Salah. Again, let me know what you guys think in regards to the lineup. Who would you bring in? Who would you take out? Do you think Salah's not really ready yet? I think he is. I think with Salah, it's one of those ones. Once he's back and he's ready to go, he's like, yo, boss, this bench thing ain't really for me. Leave that for the side, man. Leave that for those kind of guys. You know, not for me. Not for me. So yeah, that's what I would go with anyway in terms of a lineup. But again, let me know what you guys, of course, think in the comment section below. But if I just put myself back up there, but yeah, that's what I'm going with. My prediction for the game, I've gone with 2-2. I do think Brentford are going to cause us some type of issues, man. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like it's that type of game where they will cause us issues, especially at their ground. They got Tony back, Morpay on a bit of a streak himself. It's going to be difficult. I'm not saying Liverpool cannot win the game. I don't want people to think, oh, I think it, no. I know we can. Yeah, I mean, I know we can beat them, but I just think that, yeah, it's just going to be tricky. It's just going to be tricky to do so. But I would love to see us win 3-0, 3-1, whatever, 3-2, heck, just to get the 3 points, before Manchester City play. Because, of course, we don't want to be dropping any points. We can go 5 points clear before Manchester City play anyway. So that's what we want to be keeping. We want to keep the pressure on. We want to keep the pressure on the Manchester Cities and the Arsenals. We need to make sure if we're playing first, make sure you win that game. Make sure you win that game, because then you don't want to lose that game and then the other two go out and win, and then now you're behind that. Nah. If Liverpool lose or draw this game, it's not good. It's really, really not good news. And then it just creates more problems, further down the line. And then now you're hoping for favors from other teams. Let's just do our job, make sure we can do our thing. And then, yeah, we're good to go. We're good to go. But, yep, that's me. For the match preview. Again, apologies for my voice, I know, but you know what, we're here. I want to keep trying to be a bit more I say consistent. I was being consistent. It was just I was a little bit ill, so I had to just take a couple of days for myself. Make sure you guys smash the like, make sure you share and subscribe to the channel, please. We're on the road, what should we say? We're on the road to 1,500 people. So if you haven't subscribed already to the channel, again, appreciative of everybody who has done so already. But please, if you haven't done so and you like the content, you like the vibe, you like everything about it, just make sure you're hitting that subscribe button for me. It's going to be a lot of new stuff coming out this year. New shows, new show segments, ideas, and etc. Just going to have a little mess around and see what is up. But guys, make sure you share, like, subscribe. Make sure you, of course, you also have a very good Friday afternoon/evening. I'm G. That's the match preview done and dusted, and we are out.